Hello YouTube, so today I want to talk about Tarot Whispers, which are one of the three type of gear in Sword of Convallaria. They are very important because they give stats and a special effect to characters they get equipped to. There are a lot of questions about them and some confusion, so I want to discuss them with you without hurry and make a tier list to understand which are the most useful in general and which are more situational. I think they are all pretty good. There's nothing terrible, but let's see together what we can do with them. We start with Verdict of Justice. The effect is increases crit by 15%. When the game talks about crit, it means crit rate, the chance to score a critical hit. The enhanced effect is increases crit damage by 15%. So in the end, you will have a Tarot Whisper that has crit rate and crit damage plus 15%. I think this is a very good tarot. If you want to debate, it could be A tier instead of S tier, but I would be always happy to have crit rate and crit damage, especially on DPS that are built around crit. So I think it's S, because it's useful on any DPS, which is the applicable class. Then we have Majesty of the Emperor. While attacking a healthy enemy, increases damage by 10%. All enemies at the beginning are healthy, so it's good at the beginning, then it falls off. So I think it's fine, I think you can use it and it performs consistently but not incredibly. March of the Chariot. Gain move 1 if you don't use active skill but choose standby. The effect lasts for 2 turns. Enhanced effect is the same, but you have 2 movement. You can move your character and stand by. What's important is that you don't activate a skill and you don't attack. So movement is incredibly important in this game, and if you want to move around, this helps. But not doing anything at all, not even skills to buff yourself, is never good, sadly enough. So this is circumstantial at best. Next one, The Dream of the Magician. So there is a lot of confusion about this because it's written in a strange way. Let me read it. Increases damage by 8%, that always happens. When casting the skill for each additional hit on one enemy, the damage dealt increases by 4% up to 12%. So the number 1 means an extra enemy. The only way to increase damage is to hit multiple enemies. This is very misleading, but it has been tested. So for each enemy hit, you have 4% more damage, and besides the first one. Enhanced effect changes effect to increase damage by 16%. When casting skill for each additional hit on any new enemies, damage dealt increased by 8% up to 24%, so it's basically double the amount on everything. So this one is very good on AoE casters. It's very good. I think it's always good when you use it in the right situation. Guidance of the World. Restores 1 energy if you don't use active skill but choose standby. So this has the same problem as March of the Chariot. So it goes here. You don't want to stand by from my point of view. Silence of the Hermit. Reduces damage taken by 10% and enhanced effect decreases damage taken by an additional 10% to 20%. This can be useful for tanks, but it would be at best circumstantial, I think. Nothing special. Desire for Temperance. At the beginning of the battle gains a physical shield equal to 25% of your physical attack plus your magic attack. The shield cannot be dispelled. And the enhanced effect is decreases damage taken by 15% when the character has a shield. I think this is more useful than the Hermit. I like having a shield at the beginning of the fight, and I think overall it plays better both in PvP and PvM, so it goes into borderline. I think it can do things. I have fun with it, so I use it on units that I am worried they have not enough life and they are very offensive, because it scales on your offenses. So if your character is offensive, this one is very good. Don't use it on tanks that don't scale on offensive stats though. I don't know if there are any, because in this game there are not like super specialized classes for now, but yeah, keep it in mind. Check your physical attack and magic attack. Gibbuous Moon. At the end of the turn heals a 20% HP if you're injured. I think this is very good. Not sure in PvP, but I think in PvM it's awesome. Rays of the Sun. When attacking an injured enemy, ignore 20% defense. This can be interesting, but it feels pretty much circumstantial. Mercy of the High Priestess. Increases healing effect by 15%, and if you have enhanced, it's 50% more, and if the target is dying, the healing effect is 50% on top of that, so up to 45%. That's probably good on healers. It's not incredible, but healers are a specific class and this helps with healing. So I think it can come in handy in PvM. PvP, not sure, because maybe you want to use shields over that. So I think they should be in the same class. I will move them here. Then, Elegance of the Empress. After casting the skill to an ally, transforms the target 1 debuff into level 1 buff effect for 2 turns. This one cleanses the buffs and turns them into buffs. After casting a skill on an ally, additionally converts 1 debuff on the target. Okay. Or 2. This is good in PvP, I think. If you have character that debuff you. It's borderline. Destruction of the Tower. When it's not their turn, their damage dealt is increased by 20%, and Enhance is when it's not a character turn, gains 40% life steal when dealing damage. This is too fun, I think. When you have enemy face attackers, this is the most fun thing you can have. So it goes into the A tier because I love it. Temptation of the Devil. When one character is defeated, I don't know what it means by character, I think it's your party, gains 1 stack of Devil which cannot be dispelled, and it's 2 stacks when it gets enhanced. I think it's like a very good damage buff, and I think this is very used. Redemption of the Judgment. When the turn is over, expel 2 attribute buff of 1 random enemy within 2 tiles, and de-upgraded as Judgment for 2 turns. I don't remember the keyword, I can check it. But in general, it cleanses buffs from the enemy, circumstantial for sure. Curse of Fortune. At the beginning of the turn, gains 1 random buff effect from the Wheel of Fortune. This is pretty good instead, because having a random buff every turn is good. The Innocence of Fools. HP increased by 10% when attacking actively. If your maximum HP is greater than the target, damage cost increased by 10%. I think this is a strict upgrade to Majesty of the Emperor, so it goes here. The Law of the Emperor reduces area damage received by 20%. Okay, this is good in PvP. So it goes into the circumstantial tier. And the Source of Strength when attacked by a character with self-destroying function. I have no idea. I just don't know where to put this. Yeah, I will just place it here. I will call it don't know. There we go. And that's my tier list. So let's talk about it a little bit. On top, I place Verdict of Justice because it's crit rate and damage. I very much like it. I have Emperor here, is too much. Because yeah, the enemy can be healthy, but you only have the first shot. So I think I will put it on borderline. Dream of the Magician is very good on AoE, so you want to use it. Gibbuous Moon, good into any tanky character. Tower, same, but with enemy face counter attacking characters. The Devil is weird, we'll see. The Course of Fortune is very fun because you get 1 buff each turn. Pokemon taught me that. That's very important. The Fool increases damage by 10% when your HP. I think this could be good because you use it when you know you have more HP. It reduces area damage PvP. Let's see. Okay, healing, shield. I really like this one quite a bit. Yeah, it will be something like that. I think this is the right order. The Empress is the one that cleanses buffs from the enemy. So yeah, these are like the things. Healing, shields and damage. So after some sleep I understood why I like Temperance. Temperance give you a shield, and a shield keep you healthy. Healthy means that you deal more damage, because if you get injured, you're in trouble. So that's the reason why with the damage buff and the shield, I think Temperance is a little tiny bit better than the others. I also think healing may not be meta in general, but I find it very handy in PvM situations. When it comes to Justice, the thing I like is that it's very generic. It's probably not stronger than those, but it's very generic. For this reason I will raise Gibbuous Moon at S tier, because for PvM it's super easy to use on any character. And I think there are many other considerations to do about the tier list. For instance, I think the Devil can be very useful in PvP situations, but at the same time this is mostly a PvM tier list, and it's just to spark some discussion among us. We'll have a more in-depth tier list when with the game developing and us trying all of them, both in PvM and PvP situations, especially when the game is hard enough. This is everything I wanted to share in this video. This is the first Sword of Convallaria tier list I do. I will make more as an occasion to talk about elements of the game we can discuss together. So this is Nero Atlas, signing out.